Chris Lee here, along with a guy you're going to get to know. You may know already. Billy Derrick is going to be joining us on the podcast, and we are live at SEC Media Days. Billy, before we get into talking about Media Days, give people maybe a 30-second background on your work and how you ended up making this awful decision to join us.
Well, Chris, no, it's a great decision, I think, on my end, and I can't thank you enough for the opportunity. Obviously, 3 years with the Door Report in Nashville, and covering Vanderbilt. So, I mean, I'm still covering Vanderbilt the same way, but even more. Message boards, podcasts, 3 to 5 podcasts a week, post game shows. So, I think Vanderbilt fans should be really excited because we both care about Nashville and Vanderbilt and the coverage in Nashville. So. I'm excited, and again, it all really starts this week with SEC Media Days. So it's been a zoo to say the least.
It has been a zoo, everything from parking to you name it. But yeah, I mean, we're very excited to have Billy join us this year. He's going to be a big part of our podcast. Probably going to be doing a lot of the production which is going to be nice for me. Just great to have one other guy around who's done podcasting, understands Vanderbilt, knows the personnel, all those things. So Billy's going to be a big part of what we do. I guess this will be the kickoff episode of our next season of podcasting. And so sometimes I will be in the driver's seat. Sometimes you will. Sometimes it may be hard to tell, but we've got some cool things coming up. But we've got a few minutes before I've got to get back into the main room. Let's talk a minute about Clark Lea and players. We were around them all day. I thought a good day for them, for whatever that's worth. What were your thoughts on what you saw today?
Well, I tweeted this right when Clark Lea got to the podium. It felt like he was a little bit more concise and even more confident. Last year and the year before, he was confident, but it felt like there was more meaning in every word. He was asked a ton of questions, but he was asked about the construction. And there was no hesitancy in his voice. I sensed a lot of confidence, and that's what you expect from Clark Lea. I think last year he was, I wouldn't say long-winded, but his intro was really long. This was a little bit shorter, and he wanted to get to the questions. And there were a lot of questions, Chris. I don't think you were able to go last year. I was in Atlanta last year. There weren't nearly. He probably had the fewest questions up at the main podium. There's a lot of interest now. I mean, Pete Thamel had an article that was released early this morning about the program. With the contract extension, it's all kind of culminated into Vanderbilt being in the headlines this week, not just in the SEC, but in the country. And so, and you've also got players to go with that, like a Will Shepherd, who came back after, as we know, offers and opportunities from other schools. And also, a guy like Jalen Mahoney, who's been in the program for a while, Ethan Barr. And I got to talk to all those guys. We'll get to that in a second. But in terms of Clark Lea, Chris, we both know him well. And you're never surprised to hear something, you may not have expected, or you're like, man, I just learned something. He is truly a philosopher type of coach. I like that. I think the players like it, and it shows you that he cares. So it's not surprised to see him present himself well.
Yeah, I'm not either. I mean, those of us who's covered him, we know he will. But one thing that was kind of interesting to me, because if you want to boil down what we've seen in Media Days, and we are here, I guess we've seen 5 programs go through?
I think so,
4?
yeah.
I'm
I think we
count.
got 2 more later today.
Right. I guess it would be 5.
Yes.
And so the storylines have been running through this, and this is what happens at Media Day. There's other things going on. There's NIL, there's off-field issues, there's all kinds of stuff. So Media Days, as you know, if anybody's watched it, it's not just about football. It's about all these other things. And there's never been a time where there's been more other things.
Right.
Whether that's NIL. I mean, we just saw Georgia go. Georgia was in the news a lot since winning a national title with off-field stuff that wasn't what you wanted it to be for any program. And you have NIL and you have transfers and things. And one thing that they have sort of tried to make as a goal and paint the picture of this is what we're about, it's stability and thinking through things and being intentional about who we bring into the program. One thing that I look back on 2 years, they've set themselves up pretty well for this climate with all the things that he's tried to do with chemistry, with who they bring in and everything. And you have this thing over here at Northwestern.
And he was asked about that multiple times.
He was asked about that multiple times, had some good answers. And Kirby Smart did too, by the way.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm sure most of the coaches have,
And I mean, and look, those are 2 different programs. You can't control all your guys, but the off-field stuff, if there's been a lot of it, we've not heard it. And
Yes.
I think he's done a very good job to this point. Last year going from 2 to 5 on the in wins column, getting 2 big wins at the end of the year, but also I think part of the reason they're confident, I think they've set up a culture that feels like it's poised to survive in whatever this is we're in right now.
And fairly quickly, Chris. I mean, this is only year 3, right? I mean, we've seen builds like a Mark Stoops build at Kentucky that was long. I mean, and it took him a while, maybe year 5, year 6 to really, okay, here's what we got. We're confident and we're ready to roll. Clark Lea has talked about this is as excited as he's been for a football season in his career. For any football season, for any team, he's excited. And, I think that rubs off on the fans and the players, right?
Yes.
I mean, you've covered Vanderbilt how long, Chris?
20 years.
20 years, right? I mean, I don't know that, and I've obviously been aware of everything going on along with Vanderbilt football. I don't know that I've seen a coach that has had the relationship with the fans, the players. It feels different. So all in all, Clark Lea is making all the right decisions. He's saying all the right things, at least so far. But he also talked about the challenges. The challenges are going to continue, right? It doesn't get any easier, right? And he's excited and he thinks he's confident in his team, but that doesn't mean postseason, right? That could mean 5-7, right? So I think fans also have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, one other thing, and we've got a couple minutes before I've got to go back in and listen to the next session of things, but the facilities.
Yeah.
They did a good job, I think, of highlighting those, making people aware. That's the one thing that I get when I go on radio a lot of places in the South is people still don't know that they're building things. Now, you're going to have a lot of people figure out this fall when they show up at the stadium and there's a big hole in it, but I think they did a better job today of sort of getting the message out about change and facilities and things like that. Yeah, maybe it's a lot later than it should have been. Maybe the discussion has sort of moved on to NIL and other things. But look, if you don't have those things, it looks even worse. And I thought today, in terms of messaging, you heard that a lot.
Well, and that's Vanderbilt, right? You kind of need a media day's appearance from a coach to talk about these things to get that word out.
Yeah.
And then people slowly start to realize.
Good point, because when are you going to be talking about them otherwise, unless it's
exactly
something that's usually not what you want to be in the news for?
Yeah, that's part of the role of the Vanderbilt head coach. You treat media days maybe a little bit differently than most other head coaches.
Yeah.
Right? As a Nick Saban or a Kirby Smart, you're going about your business.
Yeah.
But at Vanderbilt, you have an opportunity to get the word out. I mean, that's what we're trying to do. But as a coach, he knows he has to do that, and he's smart about it. And he joked with Teresa Walker. I think we both tweeted about this. About we will have a clear walkway up to the press elevator. That will not change. But he also said we're going to have to figure out a different entrance. So I think that's still something they're figuring out as we speak.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to say the least what the dynamic is this year. But yeah, it's out there that Vanderbilt, and there's pictures I think that were tweeted out today of the steel beams going up. It looks like even more have gone up, so that helps too, right? There's proof in the pudding, and it kind of goes along with Clark Lea and his program, I think.
Yeah, and the last guy that really promoted the program was James Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
That was very different, but it did feel like
he treated media days.
Yeah,
I mean,
he treated media days like they were a running commercial.
Yes.
Although it was, with James, it came across a lot differently. Look, that was usually good for Vanderbilt, but anyway,
a little bit more brash. Maybe.
Yeah, Clark Lea did take a little bit of that page of the playbook today. I thought, which is good because for a long time it's just been we've got the city, we've got the degree. I mean we've been saying that's probably since before you were born.
Yeah,
but. Today there was a little something else to get a message out there on. I thought it was facilities, and I thought it was, hey, kind of look at the way we run our program.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought those were two things that were offset very well by the landscape of things.
Yeah, I think it helps that they're in Nashville as well, right? Yeah. You get people here. Vanderbilt's not far at all from this hotel. So I think just the feeling of the players, they're comfortable. Clark Lea's comfortable, and they're in their hometown. So, Chris, it'll be interesting. I mean, fall camp's next week.
Yeah.
Right. So it's on us. And media days is always it gets the feelings rolling about a football season. So I'm fired up, and Clark Lea is a guy that that is confident, and the team is confident as well.
Well, and the feeling of change is all around us. You and I are sitting here at media days. We're looking out a window.
Yes.
And all we can see are construction cranes everywhere we look. So that's made for a little bit of chaos around here as parking and everything is just – this wasn't the best time to host this.
No.
But what are you going to do? That's Nashville these days. Final thoughts. Fall camp next week. You're going to pitch in and help us with that. We'll be podcasting about it some, but I want to give this – an opportunity. If you're not on our board, we drop stuff after practice every day about what's going on. So best way to keep up, go to Vandy Sports.
Yep.
$99 and change a year, and you get a lot of stuff, and you will be part of that.
Yep.
And looking forward to it.
I can't wait, Chris. It's next Wednesday, fall camp, and I will not be there next weekend, but I'll be there every other day. So we'll be reporting, and Joey Dwyer will be here as well.
Yeah,
he'll be coming in. So looking forward to our coverage over at VandySports.com. If you haven't subscribed, I'm sure you already are if you're watching this, but tell a friend because, this is going to be the best coverage you've seen.
Well, and Joey will be here more for game time than fall practice, but he may help with a couple of those. But, still looking for sponsors. If you're interested in that, reach out and contact me. That's how we get our man Billy paid. You could do this for kicks and giggles, but that doesn't pay the bills.
No, it doesn't.
So if you're interested, we've got plenty of opportunity of inventory. Reach out. If you're looking for a particular partnership, we can make that happen. And thank you to Sutherland Belk. I don't have their read with me, but they've been a sponsor of the podcast.
And they are at the bottom right now. So they are at the bottom of this screen, Sutherland Belk, their logo at least. So.
Right. In any case, I'm Chris Lee. He's Billy Derrick. Thanks for watching. I'm going to get back into the main room and listen to Mississippi State's Zach Arnett speak. But
there you go.
We got plenty more coverage coming. Excited about this. And again, thank you to all for watching.